Welcome to our channel. Today, we're diving into the top 5 topics that come up in every presidential election, but never seem to get resolved. It's like that recurring nightmare you have, except instead of being chased by a giant spider, it's a politician vaguely promising to fix healthcare. These issues are the political equivalent of that one friend who always says they'll come to your party and then mysteriously gets busy at the last minute. They're always there, lurking in the background, but never quite getting the attention they deserve. So buckle up, because we're about to embark on a thrilling roller coaster ride through the most persistent issues in American politics. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Hold on tight, it's going to be a bumpy one. Let's start with healthcare, shall we? It's an issue that's been plaguing America for decades. It's like trying to assemble furniture from IKEA using only a spork, needlessly complicated and inevitably frustrating. The Affordable Care Act of 2010, or Obamacare as it's more affectionately known, was a major attempt to address this. Remember all the town hall meetings and the screaming? Good times. But even after all that, millions of Americans still lack affordable health care. It's almost like some politicians see health care as a privilege, not a right. Crazy, right? And don't even get me started on the pharmaceutical industry. They're like that friend who always forgets their wallet when the bill comes. Except instead of dinner, they're charging you $700 for a life-saving medication. So, yeah, healthcare in America, it's a mess. A big, expensive, complicated mess.
Next, the immigration. Immigration has been a contentious issue in U.S. presidential races, with comprehensive reform often remaining unresolved. In the 1956, Dwight Eisenhower's administration focused on enforcing existing immigration laws, including the Operation Wetback campaign to deport unauthorized Mexican workers, which was criticized for its harsh methods. In the 1968, Richard Nixon emphasized a law and order approach to immigration, including tightening border controls and addressing illegal immigration, while Hubert Humphrey advocated for more liberal policies and improving conditions for immigrants. In the 1976, Jimmy Carter supported the Refugee Act of 1980, which aimed to assist refugees and improve the U.S. immigration system, in contrast to Ford's more conservative stance on immigration control. In the 1980s, Ronald Reagan's 1986 Immigration Reform and Control Act granted amnesty to millions, but failed to address long-term issues like border security and future illegal immigration. In the 2000s, George W. Bush proposed guest worker programs but faced opposition, and his 2006 reform efforts stalled in Congress. In the 2012, Obama focused on expanding DACA and creating a path to citizenship for undocumented immigrants, while Romney emphasized strict enforcement and opposed amnesty measures. In the 2016, Donald Trump's campaign emphasized strict immigration controls and a border wall, while Hillary Clinton supported a path to citizenship for undocumented immigrants. The 2020 election saw Joe Biden advocating for restoring DACA and more humane policies, contrasting with Trump's continued emphasis on border security. Despite these debates, lasting reform remains elusive.
Next, tax reform. Tax reform has been a recurring issue in many U.S. presidential elections, often highlighted by candidates but rarely fully resolved. The debate typically centers around simplifying the tax code, addressing income inequality, and determining the appropriate tax rates for individuals and corporations. Despite various reforms over the years, such as Reagan's tax cuts in the 1980s, he campaigned on simplifying the tax code and reducing tax rates to stimulate economic growth. His platform led to the 1981 Economic Recovery Tax Act and the Tax Reform Act of 1986, which lowered income tax rates and closed loopholes. George W. Bush 2000 proposed significant tax cuts aimed at reducing the surplus and stimulating the economy, while Al Gore advocated for targeted tax cuts focused on the middle class and education. Barack Obama 2008 pushed for tax reforms that would increase taxes on the wealthiest Americans and provide relief for the middle class. Donald Trump 2016 proposed significant tax cuts for individuals and businesses, resulting in the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017, which lowered corporate tax rates and simplified the tax brackets. Joe Biden 2020 campaigned on reversing some of Trump's tax cuts, particularly for corporations and high-income individuals, while offering tax credits and relief for working families. Disagreements over fairness, economic impact, and government revenue needs have prevented a comprehensive solution, making it a persistent issue in presidential campaigns.
Next, Social Security. Social Security has been a persistent issue in U.S. presidential races, with candidates often debating its sustainability and reform, yet few solutions have been enacted. Introduced by Franklin D. Roosevelt in 1935, Social Security has since faced challenges due to an aging population and financial strain. In the 1964 race, Barry Goldwater's suggestion to make Social Security voluntary sparked controversy, while Lyndon B. Johnson defended the existing system. George W. Bush's 2000 and 2004 proposals to partially privatize Social Security faced strong opposition and were never implemented. More recently, in 2016, Hillary Clinton advocated for expanding benefits and raising taxes on the wealthy, while Donald Trump promised to protect benefits without offering detailed reforms. Despite ongoing debates, comprehensive reform has been elusive, leaving Social Security's long-term solvency unresolved as demographic pressures continue to grow. The issue remains a significant concern in every presidential race.
And finally, let's talk about gun control, because America. Gun control has been a recurring issue in presidential races, with debates centered on balancing Second Amendment rights with public safety. Candidates often clash over measures like background checks, assault weapon bans, and gun rights. 2012 was a particularly grim year, with the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting. The national conversation about gun control reached a fever pitch. But then, as with most things in American politics, nothing really changed. We're still stuck in this endless loop of thoughts and prayers, while politicians on both sides of the aisle offer platitudes instead of solutions. It's almost like they're more afraid of the NRA than they are of dead children, and that, my friends, is a truly terrifying thought.
A bonus topic, and its importance. Let's talk about education in America, because apparently an educated populace is a threat to some people. The debate over education reform has been going on for decades, with no end in sight. It's like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube with a pair of rusty pliers. Frustrating, ineffective, and likely to leave you with a headache. In 2010, the Every Student Succeeds Act was passed, but the debate over standardized testing, school choice, and funding continues. It's almost like we're more concerned with turning children into profit-generating machines than we are with actually educating them. Proposals often include improving public schools, expanding early childhood education, increasing teacher pay, and addressing student debt. Despite frequent promises, significant challenges in achieving equitable and effective education reform persist across administrations.
So there you have it, the top 5 unresolved issues and a bonus in every presidential election. It's enough to make you want to throw your phone at the wall, isn't it? But hey, at least we can take comfort in knowing that these issues will still be here next election cycle, ready to be trotted out and debated ad nauseum. Thanks for watching. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Let us know in the comments which topic you think is the most important.